Hi everyone and good morning from Michigan. Today we're at the Detroit Zoo. Haven't been here in about 4 or 5 years. Excited to go back. Really excited for the penguin exhibit and checking out all the animals. So let's go explore the zoo. The next exhibit should be a good one, the Arctic Ring of Life. Oh my goodness. What a cool view. Big giant paws. Different underwater viewing area for the polar bear. See if he's going to dive for these carrots.
We just picked up another one, sissy.
And that's exactly what he's doing.
It's funny to see the bear eating a carrot. You'd think it would be a hunk of meat somewhere.
How many polar bears do you have?
Three.
2
girls and a boy.
Okay.
There are none out at the moment, but this is an enclosure for the southern sea otters, which actually shares a pane of glass. So there'd be a pane of glass like right there, so the sea otters and the polar bears could see each other, and that's very fun. Polar bear's not in this section right now, but just showing off how big the enclosure is and that the water area is over there. And how about one final polar bear shot, as this one is posing so nicely for us. Right now they do have 3 polar bears here at the Detroit Zoo, 2 of which are a breeding pair, so fingers crossed. That beautiful, beautiful, massive animal, that is a grizzly bear. On the day we're visiting the zoo at 10:45, they had grizzly bear enrichment on the schedule, so that's what we are watching here. Just got to see him eat a carrot, and now he's moved over towards a big cardboard box. Probably has some treats in it. The grizzly bear has now found a second cardboard box that he's looking for treats in. The grizzly bear exhibit definitely feels older, but it's also very, very large. As I zoom out, kind of show the entire enclosure. I am excited for this one. In this giant white building right near the front of the zoo is home to the zoo's penguin exhibit, which was closed on our last visit, so I'm really excited to see this. And here we go. As soon as you walk in, you're greeted with the South American gallery, macaronis, rockhoppers, king penguins.
Chintu.
And there they all are. Not a lot of swimming happening right now. And I think that one big guy might go in the water. They got a little like waddling area. You just want to like dip your toes in. No, he did not. He wanted to go full in. So now we take the journey to Antarctica. And to get to Antarctica, you walk down these steps. And it's like a 270-degree movie.
Guess we're going through the Drake Passage?
I guess so. The immersive environment continues here as you have screens that are done by those portholes. They'll show you some of the various wildlife found in these areas, like orcas or terns, humpback whales. And after walking that path, you're greeted with underwater viewing, where the penguins can swim right over you. Looks like they could also swim beneath you if they chose to. I love watching these guys swim underneath the water. There goes one of the big ones. This is like the biggest underwater viewing I've ever seen for a penguin enclosure. Probably a good 20 feet tall by 30 feet wide piece of glass. I like how they have like a TV screen that's above us. It turns on and gives you facts about penguins, and it looks like it's in the water. And there's another tunnel area. It's quite the exhibit. And the exhibit finishes on the second level here where you do go back up front. This is labeled the Antarctic Gallery, and I guess it's kind of like the designs in the rockwork because it is all just one big enclosure for all the penguins. But you can see like ice on this side versus more rocks on that side. And there's more penguins. The Detroit Zoo is home to one of the biggest chimpanzee enclosures I have seen in my entire life. This thing is gigantic. It does seem like a lot of them are in the middle on this big giant place structure. We can see a small one swinging over there. So we can get some better views. Looks like one of the younger chimpanzees has found a stick. You can see some more of the chimpanzees hanging out on that tree there. They seem pretty relaxed at the moment. Here's the zoo's herd of big, beautiful bison. They're just enjoying the sunshine. Giant animals. This big old ball of fluff right there, that is a sloth bear. Oh. Here are the zoo's tallest residents, the giraffes. One up nice and close.
His mom and dad are here.
A very large enclosure here. These are for African savannah area animals.
The elands and the ostrich.
Yeah, you can see the elands up close in front of what probably was a pool at one point. And then way, way in the back, pretty good size ostrich. Right in front of us is a zebra. These are grabby zebra. And then if you look way in the back, kind of walking in this general direction, they are paired up with a wildebeest. Zebras are, they're very pretty. That is, of course, a rhinoceros. I will say the Detroit Zoo, I'm pretty impressed with how large their enclosures are for the animals. There's a lot of very good size enclosures at the zoo. There you can see a pair of warthogs. Kind of fun to see these guys up. Doesn't happen all the time when you go to the zoos. Did just overhear a grandma talking to her kid saying, "Yep, no, those are warthogs, not hedgehogs," which gave me a chuckle.
That's important.
Yes, if you're confusing warthogs and hedgehogs, they're very different. But I guess kids think of Sonic, and Sonic doesn't look anything like that. What hedgehogs actually look like. Up on the hill there, that is a western lowland gorilla. There's a very small gorilla in there. I'm not sure how old that one is, but it is not very big.
Pretty active.
Another shot of the small one. This curious fellow here, that is a Schmitz monkey. Right in the middle of the zoo, they have this absolutely beautiful fountain. Look at that. This is wonderful. They have a really, really nice area for their river otters. And there's indoor viewing in a log cabin area that smells like a log cabin. And now it just wants to show us its tail. And now it's swimming around. Yeah, really, really nice enclosure here for the river otters. This definitely feels rather modern. If I could see one go down its water slide, that would make my entire day. But even that, it's also nice that Molly and I are the only people in here right now. The Detroit Zoo has one of the largest red panda enclosures I have ever seen. And there's a big bridge you can walk on the middle of it. Let's go see if we can see one from there. Yeah, this is pretty neat. Now, red pandas do love to spend time up in the trees. It's probably a good chance where we'll find one, if we find one. Yeah, I really like the bridge, and it does move. And we did indeed find one. It is way up in the tree. These large birds here, these are lancet-faced vultures. They're pretty big animals.
They are.
It is feeding time for the camels. It definitely seems like it's a pretty good breakfast for them. And some of them look pretty fluffy as well. I like how they're all sharing very kindly the one feed bowl. It makes a ton of sense having this here in Michigan. This is an enclosure for Wolverines. Unfortunately, can't see any at the moment. There's a pair of patriotic birds in this enclosure. Now, whenever you see bald eagles at a zoo type environment, they are all non-releasable rescue animals. And some of them, like this one, very pretty. And apparently very itchy. Making its way across the enclosure is a wolf. Here's the zoo's second wolf. They have two different enclosures. This one, that's probably its favorite napping spot. Here's an exhibit called the Australian Outdoor Adventure. I got distracted. There's a groundhog in here. And it's over there, just hanging out with the kangaroos. So yeah, I got distracted by a groundhog. But the Australian Outback Adventure Area, it's actually a pretty neat exhibit where you can see these kangaroos. You can actually see them without a fence, as there's a pathway that goes right down the middle. But today, all the kangaroos are hanging out off to the side over here. I love how none of them care about the groundhog at all. It's fascinating. A little groundhog just chilling out in their exhibit.
They're chilling?
No,
the groundhog's eating?
Yep, they're taking their naps. Little groundhog over there having himself a day. This guy's having himself a scratch. I always love a good multi-species enclosure. And here you have the white stork, which are very, very pretty. You also have a pair of pelicans. And I think I saw one more friend in here too. And there's the other one. I believe that's an African spur-thighed tortoise. Not 100% sure, I did not see a sign. That is enjoying the sun. This mountain is for the Japanese macaque monkeys. Not overly active, but you can see them. There's one jumping down. And then there's one peacefully sleeping down here. Let's go.
He's my favorite.
The sleeping one?
Yeah. Oh, that one's up. He's jumping up.
Well, he woke up the guy that was sleeping. Oh, he's climbing on the log now.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. Pretty fun enclosure here. It's for 3 different species of lemur. So you get the ring-tailed, the red-ruffed, and the crowned. Lions sleep around 20 hours a day, and that's what they're doing right now. Up next is the beavers, but they're not out. I do like that they have a big jumbotron kind of thing here to see if the beavers are in their dam. They are indeed. There's 3 sleeping. Very interesting statue here welcomes us to the Reptile Conservation Center. I didn't find the Chinese alligator, but Molly did.
I did. They're small.
Yeah. Definitely feels like one of the older exhibits here at the zoo. Building feels very much out of like 50s or 60s. A lot of smaller enclosures, but we will show you a couple of the highlight animals while going around. I'm jealous. The keeper is currently giving some scratches to that fly river turtle. I like the area for the fly river turtle too. It's got a little waterfall. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, right?
It also took me a minute to find the chuckwallas, but they are all the way at the top of their little chuckwalla mountain. The spiny-tailed iguana is posing so nicely that it had to make the video. Cool pose on you. There's a pond for a couple species of turtles, including one of the most interesting turtles to me. That one there with the weird face, for lack of a better term, that is a mata turtle. The McCord box turtle is hanging out there in its little sandbox next to its little turtle pagoda. I want to see if I can get it doing the tongue thing. There it is. That is a black tree monitor. This is one of the larger enclosures I've seen for a dwarf caiman. See two of them hanging out in the water right there. Right near the front of the zoo is this wonderful old building with some baboon sculptures out front. So it's home to birds and butterflies. Rather different. Once you come inside here, you're greeted with an art gallery first. There's also like a science museum exhibit, Science on the Sphere. Here is the butterfly garden. There are a lot of them in here. And after the butterflies, you head into a free flight bird aviary. I'm going to zoom in on the very pretty macaw. The bird aviary is definitely bigger than I thought it was. These three vomiting frogs here welcome us to the next exhibit, which is the National Amphibian Conservation Center, which is, I find this interesting because almost every zoo you go to will have a reptile house. Very few have a dedicated amphibian area.
That's true.
And let's see what kind of amphibians we can find. Ooh, right away, starting off with ones that are pretty cool. These are the Lake Titicaca frogs. They almost look like they're fake. I feel like it's one of the most popular amphibians, at least recently. Looking at the pond for axolotls.
Yeah, I'd say like 10 years ago, no one knew what an axolotl was. Now they're very popular.
Yep. Fun enclosure here for the blue spotted salamander. It shows what their tunnel systems are like. You can see one down there at the bottom. They have a very large area here for the hellbenders, which are a big species of salamander. Not the easiest thing to see. I'm going to try my best to zoom in on it. We had a very difficult decision at 10:30 if we wanted to go see the grizzly bears, get in their enrichment, or go see the hellbenders get fed.
Which you never see.
No, but we opted for the grizzly bears, which was really fun. But the hellbenders, that would have been fun to see them moving around and eating. There are lots of frogs, as you would guess, in this amphibian area, including the Panamanian golden frog. This is probably going to be the largest enclosure here in the Amphibian Center, home to the Japanese giant salamander. Unfortunately, these guys are good at hiding, and we can't find them right now.
No, we can't.
For $3, you can ride the carousel. They've got some pretty cool animals. Penguins, seahorses, a grasshopper, a bat. This is a snake on a post. There's some really cool stuff.
The snake on the post is pretty cool.
For a couple of dollars, you can ride the train. And the train, it's a transportation ride that takes you all the way from the front of the zoo all the way to the back of the zoo. So, might be a good idea to take one way and then see the animals on the other. The zoo is home to a 4D movie theater. For a couple bucks, you can go see right now either the Angry Birds 4D experience or Penguins 4D. Probably quite enjoy Penguins 4D. There is a boardwalk trail. I believe this is just kind of like a refuge area for native animals. It's pretty big. Why, Molly? What time is it right now?
I think it's beer 30.
Yeah, it's from Griffin Claw Brewing Company. We're drinking a wheat beer called Mr. Blue Sky. And also here at the zoo, it is construction time. The Detroit Zoo has a massive, massive construction project going on. Like, you could see how big this new exhibit's going to be. It's going to be called Discovery Trails, kind of a modern take on a children's zoo concept. Going to be home to donkeys, alpacas, anteaters, bush dogs, goats, chickens, stingrays, bamboo sharks, my personal favorite owl, the burrowing owl. This is a very, very big project for the zoo. Should open in spring of 2026 is what they say. That might be a bit ambitious based on where they're at in the construction progress, but you'll have to come out and check this out once it opens. And that'll do it for our time at the Detroit Zoo. We were here for about 4 hours, had a really, really pleasant day.
Yeah.
Some practical information for adults to get in. It is $26, at least on the day we were visiting. If you are a member of a different AZA zoo, you do get your reciprocal discount. For me, my favorite exhibit was definitely the penguins. That is a world-class penguin enclosure.
That is really nice. The polar bears is really nice with the tunnel.
Yeah. The penguins and the bears, I think, were my favorite. We got really good seeing the grizzly bear, get his enrichment toys, the polar bear swimming around.
Even the sloth bear was up.
Yeah. Also want to throw in there real quick that this zoo had more volunteers than I think any zoo I've ever been to. They were all over and they were very, very helpful. Hey, if you got any questions about the Detroit Zoo, let me know in the comments section below. And thank you very much for watching this video. Hey, if you like this video, maybe you want to check out another one of our zoo videos, like the Bronx Zoo in New York.